produce a competent male heir, then she have to pick from the male heirs that's available in order to find a competent replacement on the father line. Once she present him to the father had to test his position, his ability to hold his position. When the father tests his ability to hold his position, if he passed the test, now he's qualified to assert his claim to the throne. So this is why you see Bathsheba negotiating with David about seating Solomon as king, right? They use this book called the Bible because it derives from the ancient story we call the Holy Drama. Well, it's actually not the Holy Drama, but the Osirian resurrection, which is the resurrecting the Father by finding the Son to put on the Father's seat. Heru becomes Osiris, right? And he had to be picked by the Queen Mother, sealed with the number 13, right? Number 13 is the Queen Mother seal. The man, number 6, doesn't become the master until he flips to number 7. Right? So now that's a 67 numerically, but when you add them together, what do you get? The Queen Mother seal. So the Queen Mother tells her son that the Big Mama to be restored is born in 67. Right? By sacred sealing it with 19. But it depends on the father line and the mother line. When the mother line, Empress Verdiasi, is infiltrated, she can no longer restore the Americas back to the tribes. She's been what we call collaterally estopped. Right? That means that they have put so many roadblocks in the way by infiltration and subjugation and subversion to prevent her from exercising her matriarchal right to expel all imposters. This will take us to the Blue House now, because Empress Verdiasi can't claim the throne before she leaves this earth because she's infiltrated. And how do we know she infiltrated? It's because she never asserted her matriarchal right to sit in the sacerdotal seat. None of her advisors told her that the sacerdotal seat was in Philadelphia. And by her sitting in that seat is tantamount to the queen on the throne and ordering order to the whole kingdom. But when you sit in the sacerdotal seat in America, it's at this era, the close of the age, opening of the new age, dawning of Aquarius at the closing of Pisces, right? Taking you here from under the water to above the water. We have to see a matriarch sit in the sacerdotal seat, which is the heralding of the close of the empire that was ruling and the reset for the new birth to take place. So it falls down to what we call numerical value, right? Do you see it play out in the numbers? Once it play out in the numbers, then you can see where it fit in at in the paradigm. And then you move to the next level, right? So you can either, we can go from here to the next one, Elder, or you could take a couple questions in the intro.
Hey, do y'all have any questions based on the information that was given so far? Because we got a lot of stuff. Yeah, the audio had went out, but it's back good now. Everybody's saying it's back good now, so we good. What else? Okay. Yeah, let's go to this next thing because we got some hot stuff, man. We waiting on some America upside the head. So they saying the cover up was the all was part of it, but the cover up scheme was to get that silver, man, for J.P. Morgan, because he really don't got what he say he got in the storage, and if they don't come up with this silver fast, that dollar could be in threat. So you think they gonna try to pull another silver exchange, like what they call in all the silver and confiscate? Oh, turn your silver in or else. So what do you think from this Venezuela thing? From what all we got, Rug? What you think?
Okay, play it backwards, Elder.
Okay.
Remember, they took us off of what standards? The gold standard and the silver standard, right? And they confiscated all of the gold, and then they
Right.
later requested us to turn in our silver.
Right.
Okay, now, if we reclaiming everything, who got to give us what back?
Good
It
question. The
has to be
government.
played in reverse.
Okay, go ahead.
So they have to give the people back the gold and the silver,
Mm-hmm.
right? The reason this is because this is the biggest single transfer of wealth in the history of the world. No time in history has anybody came to power and gave economic opportunity to everybody that they could find, not everybody they could see.
Mm.
Right? Normally, if a country take a windfall, the only people that actually see the benefit is what's known as the aristocracy.
Mm.
The aristocracy is coming from Aristotle.
Right.
That's who they named after. Aristotle was educated in Egypt, the same as Herodotus, the same as Plato's teachers. Right?
Mm-hmm.
This is when he giving us the story of the Americas, what they call it the Great Atlant, which
Mm-hmm.
became Atlantis when they tell the story. It's a Platonic story. Platonic means a friendly story. It's like you got a platonic relationship with a woman. It's a non-sexual relationship, meaning there's no intercourse. That
Mm-hmm.
means that there's just two standalone philosophies, right? The
Mm-hmm.
two standalone philosophies is known as the twin pillars, severity and mercy. These are teaching tools,
Mm-hmm.
severity and mercy.
Mm-hmm.
People have a tendency to run from pain and gravitate toward pleasure. The mercy seat is the seat by which pleasure is derived.
Mm-hmm.
The severity seat is the seat by which the pains of discipline is applied, right? Now,
Mm-hmm.
the one who walks the middle path, aka the middle pillar, is the one who's called the straight bump, as in the two ball cane and the cane being the straight bump,
Mm.
right? In the left ball and the right ball,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you playing a game of baseball with a black ball and a white ball.
Mm-hmm.
You strike out on the black ball because you can't see it, but you hit the home run with the white ball
Mm-hmm.
that goes over the field. The black ball is called a strike, right? Which
Mm-hmm.
is actually a fastball. Speed of light. If you can match the speed of light, you travel at the speed of dark.
Mm-hmm.
Dark moves so fast that it's already there when the light comes, and it'll still be there when the light goes. So now we're seeing the imagery being played out in the Venezuelan situation. There's other stuff militarily going on with Venezuela as
That's right.
a drug export center for the deep state in America.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, Maduro gave the files to America that identify everybody who was funneling money back to themselves from the Venezuelan drug trades. This is
Mm-hmm.
why they targeted the drug ships and they was just blowing them up, right? Because they was cutting off the money supply. Now we go back to the dollar, the petrodollar, the silver backing, and the gold backing. This is what
Mm-hmm.
this is taking us to. Militarily, they're creating a circumstance that's going to trigger another condition. If the people that's receiving the kickback money are hiring private militaries,
Mm.
right?
Yep.
They're using the accumulated Federal Reserve notes that comes in on pallets on transport planes, just like the drugs. They bring the money over here and then they break it down into duffel bags and Halliburton briefcases and they distribute it to the deep state actors attaché
Mm-hmm.
to be delivered to the deep state actor.
Mm-hmm.
They pay their militaries, their private militaries, millions of dollars a month, depending on the level of security they're asking for.
Mm-hmm.
If you cut off the access to the airspace, you cut off the deep state actors' access to what's known in the streets as liquid cash. They are no longer liquid. That means that everything is transactional is going to be have to handle digitally.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with that was because they knew who they were, they already cut their bank accounts off. Access denied. Now, Maduro know each one of the people who's working through Central Intelligence and the DEA agency to traffic the drugs from South America, coming from all South American countries, not just Venezuelan, but using Venezuela as like a way station.
Mm-hmm.
And the file is the whole who owned what coca farm, what poppy field, who owned it. It's in the paperwork. Maduro surrendered the paperwork. Now, how do you protect Maduro once this is all brought out into the public? You have to have him under what's called state-sponsored security on high level, so you charge him with high-level crimes and you lock his ass up. Right? Now, the deep state have to figure out who can they pay to help Maduro commit suicide, like Jeffrey Epstein. While they trying to figure that out, they still got to pay their private militaries protection. Now, as a private military, most of these guys that started them, 99% of them, are former military.
Mm-hmm.
That means that they still believe in their oath to protect the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic.
Mm-hmm.
So the message goes from the military, let us make our money, and when they can't pay, you can come get them because we won't be here. So the military say, okay, just keep an eye on your ward. Because when you hire protection detail, they call you their ward.
Mm-hmm.
So while they watching the ward is paying them to watch him, but they still in communication with military intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now, they know that these deep state actors, these private militaries know that they had access to trillions of dollars that the regular people never knew of or seen. And they was using sizable amounts of it in what's known as black ops operations.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now, if you're going to get these people, you have to trap them using what they already do as the bait for the trap. That way, the enemy bait the trap himself. Now, when they get Maduro out, then they can show us exactly what the United States corporation being installed over here. They could show us the example so we could see how it worked when they took over and exerted jurisdiction over here that they did not have.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Mm-hmm. So when they asked President Trump who was going to run Venezuela, he said, what? We are.
Right.
Until such time as what? The people pick a viable leader.
What you
He
think is gonna
just
be that?
told us, he just told us a code in there. He ain't talking about Venezuela. He talking about us over here, the tribes over here. But they using the Venezuelan story to pass the message in plain sight, in your face, behind your back.
Damn.
Now, the silver is critical because one, around Christmas time, Chase Manhattan, JP Morgan, closed 30,000 branches. They don't, where's all these branches at?
Right?
Right? They got to be servicing somebody somewhere else other than us, because it can't be 30,000 Chase branches across this country.
Nah, it ain't not. Nah, Chase sitting down like that.
Right. So they have other means and outlets. That's just telling us, by putting something out in the plain, blatant contradiction public like that. Right? That's telling us, pay attention to this because it's finna tell you something else. This ain't really what you need to pay attention to, but the thing you need to pay attention to you is coming up, which takes us to the assault on Venezuela. The people that is applying the JP Morgan silver situation is not telling y'all that the whole European silver standard was called in by the debtors, which was the actual rightful heirs of Europe. When they did that, it created what's known as a financial vacuum in the silver industry. That means they took out of circulation such a massive amount that it naturally made them raise the value of it, but also decrease the supply of it. Right? This is what the silver controversy is. And then the oil, the petrodollar. Remember, the BRICS nations are literally building a dam financially to force the dollar back home.
Right.
In order to crash the dollar at home. I mean, a domestic crash of the dollar system, which is right now being manifest in bank closures and laying off people in the IRS, cut 30% of their staff after they had already cut another like 35% of it a couple years ago. What they cutting back like that for? But then you have the conclusions of these accountings that the Doge team is doing. It's also telling them who is skimming off the top of our wealth in order to finance their opulent lifestyles. So if you're going to activate Nasara Jassara properly, you have to first know where everything that's going to be used as a backing for the financial system that has no such thing as interest or credit. You either got it or you don't got it. You either can afford it or you can't afford it. Right? Ain't no credit. Because credit creates what we call servitude debt serfs. The servitude debt serfs are people who's into somebody else's pocket and can't live their own life until they get out them people's pocket. This is what the music industry do to its artists. They keep them to the point where they can't use them no more and they can't make money on their own. Then they cut them loose with all their money in the music industry pocket. Right? So you seeing the whole thing, Moderno and all that, it's the same play that they played with Saddam Hussein.
Muhammad
with the same, with a lookalike, because he's a Saddam Hussein lookalike.
That's right.
Some people think it's the same actor. I don't think it's the same actor, but I think they came from the same casting call. That's when you call all of the actors to play a part. Maduro was the leader of one of the cartels of Venezuela, who exiled the duly elected president. I think he went to the Middle East somewhere. and he been in exile for 3 or 4 years, and he was the president the people elected, but Maduro established a coup that ran him out of there.
Mm.
They reenacted the Obama administration when Trump was caught up in the Russiagate scandal.
Mm.
It's the same thing, but it's somewhere else because sometimes it's too close at home for us to really see it. So they have to show it to us away from home. If you're trying to get the mainland people to see what happened, now